In the last lecture, we created a global error handling middleware. So if I go to VS Code, here we are creating a global error handling middleware. And inside this middleware, first of all, we are receiving the error object. And on that error object, we are expecting a status code property, a status property, and the message property. Now, any error object which will be created, whether we create it manually or which will be created by Mongoose or which will be created by Express, it will always have the error message property on it. But the status property and the status code property, it will not be present on the error object. So here what we are doing is, after creating the error object, on that we are setting the status code and then we are setting the status property. And then we are passing that error object to the error handling middleware by calling this next function and passing that error object as an argument. But instead of doing it like this, what we can do is we can create our own custom error class. And using that custom error class, we can create an error object which we can pass to the global error handling middleware. Creating a custom error class in an Express application is a best practice for structured and consistent error handling, especially when working with a global error handling middleware. And when we create a custom error class, it gives our error a consistent error structure. It gives better control in global error handler, and it improves the debugging and logging process. So in our application, let's go ahead and let's create a custom error class. So here in the utilities folder, I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to call this file as appError. Okay, it is going to be a JavaScript file. Inside that, I'm going to create a class. I'm going to call this class as appError. And from within this file, I'm also going to export this class. So for that, we can say module.exports, and I want to export this appError class. Now here, this appError class is going to be our custom error class. And since we want to create a custom error class, this appError class, it should inherit from the built-in error class. So here, I'm going to use this extends keyword, and I want to extend the built-in error class. So whatever properties we have for this built-in error class, we also want to have it for our appError class. And then on this appError class, we will add some of our own properties. Now here, since I'm extending this error class already has a message property. So here for our appError class, which is our custom error class, I'm going to specify a constructor. And remember that whenever we are going to instantiate this appError class, we are basically going to call the constructor of this class. So this constructor will be called. Okay, so for example, we are going to instantiate this class in this way. So for example, we can create a variable. I can call it as error. And to create an object of this appError class, we can say new appError. Okay. And here, when I use a parenthesis after the class name, it is basically going to call the constructor of this appError class. And for this constructor, I'm going to specify two parameters, the message parameter and the status code parameter. So when we are going to call this constructor and we are going to call this constructor like this, at that time, we will have to pass the value for message parameter. So for example, some error message, we need to pass a string value and then the status code, for example, 500. Okay, so this is how we will call the constructor of this appError class. Now, from within this constructor, we know that this built-in error class also has a message property. So from within this constructor, I'm going to call the constructor of this error class, which we are extending. And for that, we can use the super keyword. So what this super keyword will do is when we are calling it like this, it is going to call the constructor of the parent class. In this case, it is going to call the constructor of this error class. And here, when we are calling the constructor of the error class, that time we also specified the error message for the error. So in the same way here, when we are calling the constructor of this error class, while calling its constructor, we are going to specify an error message. And that error message we are going to receive in this message parameter. So I'm going to pass this message to the error constructor. So this is the first step. Then in the second step, we are going to say this dot status code. Basically here, I'm creating a property on this app error using this variable. So whenever we will create an instance of this app error class, this variable will point to that instance. And on that instance, I'm setting the status code. And I want to set the status code to the status code value which we have received for this status code parameter. Then we also need the status property. So for that here, I'm going to create a property called status. And now what I want is the status code can be any value like 400, 401, 404, etc. So if the status code starts with 400, that means if the status code starts with 4, I want to set the status as fail. But if the status code starts with 500, and 500 status code means server errors. So in that case, I want to set the status as error. If the errors are client errors and the client errors starts with 400, so 400, 401, 404, 403, these are all client errors. And the server errors starts with 500. So 500 stands for internal server error. Then we have 503 and other 500 server errors. So if the error is from server, I'm going to set the status as error. But if the error is from client, in that case, I want to set the status as fail. So here I'm going to check if this status code, if it starts with, so we have a string method called starts with, or what I can also do is here I can say if status code, if it is greater than or equal to 400 and if status code is less than 500, then I want to set the status as fail. Otherwise, if the status code is 500 or greater than 500, I want to set it to error. Okay. Now remember that in our application, we are only going to handle operational errors. That means the exceptions which might occur because of user providing invalid data, or user is trying to access an invalid route, or there might be network issues because of which the Express app is not able to connect to the database server, or a timeout error has occurred. So for these types of errors, we call them as operational errors. And in our Express application, we are going to handle only operational errors. We are not going to handle any programmatic errors like bugs introduced by the developer in the code. All right. So for that, what I'm going to do is here, I'm also going to add one more property. So in the next line, I'll also add one more property. This dot is operational. So if the error is an operational error, basically I'm going to set this is operational to true. So any error which we will create using this app error class, it is by default going to be set as operational error. Okay. Now currently it is possible that you will not understand the use of this is operational property, but you will understand it in the coming lectures. But for now, just remember that whatever error object I'm going to create using this app error class, I want to set that error as operational error. And for that, I'm setting this is operational to true. All right, then what I also want is I want to capture the stack trace of the error. The stack trace of an error, it gives the information about where in the code the error has occurred, basically at which line of a given file in the application code the error has occurred. So this base error class, it already has a stack trace. It already captures the stack trace of any error that occurs in the application. So here, instead of creating a new property called stack trace for our app error class, what we are going to do is we are going to capture the stack trace from the base class. And for that, on the base error class, we have a static method called capture stack trace. We can call this, and here as the first argument, we need to pass the instance of the class. So here we are creating an instance of this app error class. So that instance we need to pass as the first argument to this capture stack trace. So I'll pass this here because this will point to the current instance of this app error class. And then we also need to pass the class itself. And to pass the class, what we can do is we can say this dot constructor. Okay, so when we say this dot constructor, it basically points to the class. So these are the two arguments which we need to pass to this capture stack trace. And what it is going to do is it is going to preserve this stack trace from the parent error class. Okay, and it will give us access to the stack trace in our custom error class. And with this, let's save the changes. Let me remove this commented code from here. And now let's go ahead and let's create an instance of this appError class wherever we want to use it. So let's go to app.js first. And there inside this default route, what we are doing is we are creating an instance of this built-in error class. On that, we are setting the status code and status. But instead of doing it like this, before I call this next function, before that, I'm going to create an instance of our custom appError class. And for that, first I need to import it. So here I'm going to create a variable. I'll call it as appError. And we are going to require our appError class here. So from the current folder, we need to go to utilities folder. And in that utilities folder, we have appError. Okay. Now we are going to create an instance of this appError. So remember that this appError file, it is exporting this appError class. So that means this appError will be assigned with that class. Now we are going to create an instance of that class. So here I'm going to create a variable. I'll call it as error. And to create an instance of a class, we use new keyword followed by the class name and then parenthesis. And as we learned, this is going to call the constructor of this appError class. And the constructor of this appError class, it is expecting two arguments, a value for the message parameter and a value for the status code. So for the message parameter, let me go ahead and let me pass this message. I'll copy it from here and let's pass it here as the first argument. And as the second argument, we are going to pass the status code, which is 404. Okay, so here we are creating an error object using our appError class, and there we are passing the error message and the status code. And now I can just remove this code from here. Okay, and now we are passing this error object to the error handling middleware. So if I save the changes now, everything should still be working. So let's go to Postman, and from here, let's try to access a URL for which we have not defined it out. So if I send the request, we are getting this 404 not found response, and there we can see that the status is fail and messages cannot find the resource /API/v1/bookings. So it is still working as expected, but now instead of using the built-in error class, we are using our own appError class, our custom error class. And in this way, you see, we can create the error object with the status code property and status property with a single line of code. So in this way, we have a more structured error class. And same thing we can also do in hotelscontroller.js. So there also, first we need to import the appError class. So let me copy this import statement. Let's go to hotelscontroller.js. At the top, I'm going to require the appError class. And then inside this create method, I'm going to create an instance of appError. Before that, so let me create an instance of appError. I'll call it as error. And to create an instance of appError, again, we will use new keyword followed by appError, which is the class name. And to this, we need to pass two arguments. First, the error message that we can get from the original error object. So here I'll say error.message. And then I'm going to pass the status code as 400. And actually, let me call this error as ERR because the original error which has occurred, that we are calling as error. So from that error, we are reading the actual error message and that we are passing as the first argument to this appError constructor, and we are passing the status code as 400. And now I can remove these two codes where I'm setting the status code and status. And here, when I'm calling the global error handling middleware, instead of passing the original error object which has occurred, I'm going to pass this custom error which we are creating. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to pass it to the error handler middleware. Let's save the changes. Let's go to Postman and let's go to create new hotel. And there, let me try to create a hotel by introducing some validation error. For example, I'll not specify a name for the hotel. And if I send the request, okay, we have an error. Let's see what is that. It says cannot find module utilities app error. Okay. All right. So here we need to change the path actually. So from the current folder, we need to move one folder up and then we need to go to the utilities folder. And in there we have appError.js file. So I'll remove this JS from here. Let's save the changes. Let's go back to Postman. Let's make a request. And now you will see that now we have this 400 bad request. So here also, instead of using the built-in error object, now we are using our custom error class, the appError class. And here, using this appError class, we can create an error object with a single line of code. So now our code is more structured. Now, finally, let's do one more thing. Let's move our global error handling middleware into a separate file. And the reason for that is, first of all, I want to keep the app.js file as clean as possible. So here you see, if I move this global error handling middleware in a separate file, this app.js file will become more leaner. And second, in the coming lectures, we are going to create some more functions for handling different types of errors. And I want to keep all those functions which we are going to use for handling errors in the same file. So in the controllers folder, I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to call it as error controller. And it is going to be a JavaScript file. Okay, and now I'm going to cut this function from here. Let's go to errorController.js and here let's say module.exports. And to that, let's go ahead and let's assign that function. Now I want to use this function in app.js. So here I'm going to import it. So I'm going to create a variable. I'll call it as global error handler. You can name this anything. And here again, we are going to use the require function to require a file. So from the current directory, we are going to go to controllers folder and from there, we are going to go to, and now I'm going to pass this global error handler to this app.use method. And finally, let's test the functionality one more time. So let's first check if we have any error. We do not have any error. Let's go to Postman and here let me try to create a new hotel document without passing a name. We are getting the validation error, but if I specify a name, new test 2, and if I send the request, the hotel document should be created and we should get 201 response. In the same way, if I try to access a URL for which we have not defined a route, we should get an error. So our global error handling middleware is working as expected. We have also moved it to a separate file, and in this file we will create other functions which we are going to use for error handling. And then we have also created our own custom appError class. So this is all from this lecture. If you have any questions from this lecture, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.